Well, that's creepy.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the 10 hardest Mass Effect bosses. For this list, we'll be looking at the toughest, most difficult boss fights on the hardest difficulty that we've had to endure across the original trilogy and Andromeda. Spoilers ahead for all the Mass Effect games.
You're not putting a hand on anyone.
It's pointless to challenge me, Asari. I know your every secret, while you fumble in the dark.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Leng, Mass Effect 3. It goes without saying that this game isn't too hard on normal difficulty, and the same is true for Leng. However, on Insanity mode, he's one of the strongest bosses of the bunch. He not only has an incredibly healthy shield himself, but can deplete yours with his warp projectiles. He's deadly fast and can get up close with his sword, which can be pretty troublesome to avoid and will chunk your health pretty hard. And then, it's just a long, dragged out battle of attrition thanks to his Cerberus backup. Phantoms are already pretty hard to deal with on their own on Insanity mode.
That was for Miranda, you son of a bitch.
Shadow Broker, Mass Effect 2.
Here for the draw. Reckless, even for you, Commander.
We found by the end of the DLC of the same name that the Shadow Broker is a pretty morally questionable informant, and for the sake of Liara, it'd be our duty to bring him to justice. The Shadow Broker has multiple phases, and the fight gets reasonably more difficult for each one. He has extraordinarily strong shields, and even then has actual armor underneath them. For the most part, he'll fight at range, but he keeps changing his attack patterns, and in the last phase, he can charge at us. He's pretty deadly. The EOS Remnant Architect, Mass Effect Andromeda. One thing Andromeda got right was these absolutely monstrous and spectacular Architect boss battles. The different phases of the bosses are broken into sections of body parts that you must focus on to deal damage. All the while, you have to survive the summoned remnants on the side. And if you aren't ready to get behind cover, be prepared for a game over screen if the Architect hits you with an energy attack. If you aren't generally aware of your surroundings, and you aren't quick enough, this boss will take you out with its area attacks.
On its head, perfect target.
Tela Vasir, Mass Effect 2.
We'll get you out of here safely, Mariana.
Well, that's good to hear. All you had to do was walk away. Now it gets ugly.
Running up after the Shadow Broker, it's only appropriate to have Tela Vasir. She's also just a strong contender for the hardest boss fight in the series. She has multiple layers of really strong protection, and she's fast too. She'll constantly attempt to put some distance between you and her so she can use her assault rifle. But it's actually pretty good for you, since more range will give you more space to react to her deadly shockwave attack. She is one deadly Asari, especially if you don't come equipped with the right class.
Don't you dare judge me. Don't yell.
Matriarch Benezia, Mass Effect.
You've always made me proud, Liara. Die!
Matriarch Benezia is not only one of the first big Mass Effect bosses, but one of the most challenging ones. And she doesn't come alone. She comes with a ton of Asari and Geth commandos. You'll have to multitask between different movesets and defenses to manage the fight. And with Benezia being a biotic, she'll be able to use moves like Warp, which can be challenging to deal with. If you can't deal with that, or Stasis, good luck with this fight on Insanity mode.
You're right. They always said there would be a...
Shepard Clone, Mass Effect 3.
You want to stop shooting up my ship? It's not your ship. It will be. I've taken your name, your Spectre rank, even your fingerprints.
Fighting Shepard's clone in the Citadel DLC is both a unique experience and a pretty fun battle, but it can also be quite difficult for players since they'll have the exact same class and abilities as you. In this mirror matchup, the clone comes fitted with a pretty strong AI, meaning it'll adapt to whatever you try to do, so you can't just stick with one weapon or ability. Of course, this is dependent on your Shepard's build, so the clone might also be very forgiving to fight. Don't let this imposter steal your identity.
You. Get off my ship.
Thresher Maw, Mass Effect 2.
What will happen?
Who knows? You must adapt. You must thrive no matter the situation. Any true Krogan will.
Thresher Maws are present across all the games, but we'll be looking at the Mass Effect 2 one for the list. They're giant creatures and come packed with giant health pools as well as armor, and their main offense comes from a projectile barrage that'll cover a sizable area. It doesn't help that most of them are fought in open spaces, so you don't really have cover to hide behind for the most part. On Insanity mode, they're so unforgiving you can barely get hit more than twice if you aren't careful.
Many survive, but it has been years since a Thresher Maw fell. Your names shall live in glory.
Reaper on Rannoch, Mass Effect 3. BioWare's good at making varied, fun, and unique boss encounters, and the Reaper on Rannoch is a great example. To fight it, you've got to target it with an orbital strike laser, and you have to hit the Reaper's weak spot on specific timings. The Reaper itself does a ton of damage with moves that can be difficult to dodge, and if you aren't aggressive enough, you won't be able to damage it in the middle of this. If you aren't aware of the trajectory of its laser beam, you'll lose this fight pretty fast. Human Reaper Larva, Mass Effect 2.
The superstructure is a Reaper.
Not just any Reaper. Human Reaper.
While infiltrating the Collector base, we come across this disturbing creature. The Human Reaper Larva is a monstrous creation that could spell the end for humanity, so it's up to us to stop it. The larva will continuously spawn husks, which are overwhelming and stressful, and the larva itself has fast and damaging offense, especially if you get up close and personal. These husks may seem trivial for most players, but for Insanity mode players, they're deadly. Saren and Sovereign, Mass Effect.
Join us, and we can find a place for you.
I'd rather die than live like that.
Then you will die.
The final boss of the first Mass Effect game is the ultimate Mass Effect boss in terms of difficulty. It's basically two different phases, a fight against Saren, and then the Sovereign-controlled version of him. Saren on his own is already very strong with both plenty of biotic and tech abilities, and he is also quite tanky. As he gets taken over by the Sovereign, he becomes even more resistant and gains even stronger offense with Reaper energy attacks. Being the final fight of the first Mass Effect combat system, this thing is just hellishly hard and easily earns itself its spot on this list. Did you have trouble against any of these boss fights, or did you just blow right through them? Did we miss your favorite? Make your argument down below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.